Thanks for joining us on the Servant-Minded Leadership channel. I heard a really funny story the other day, and I wanted to share it with you. It was a story of an individual at a job interview. And as they were going through the questions, the interviewer asked the interviewee, "Why are you leaving your current position?" Now, this presented a huge challenge for the interviewee because, quite frankly, the place that they were leaving was not the best. But you can ask any recruiter, any job prep professional, whatever, and they will say, don't talk bad about the last place of employment. You do that, it makes people kind of uneasy. And so this individual was struggling a little bit, and in their mind, they're like, I don't know, should I tell them, should I not? And finally, they just decided, you know what, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with what it is. And they said, I'm leaving because the culture is extremely toxic, and I need to find something different. And instantly, the interviewer goes, "You are hired." And the person goes, really? Why? And he goes, because with your background, you will fit in perfectly with our culture. Now, I don't hope for that for anyone here, that you are hired because you know what it's like to work in a toxic culture and therefore you're gonna fit in with the next toxic culture. But I wonder how many companies, without of course saying it like that, have a very similar, I'm gonna say, perspective. We know we've got problems. We know that people aren't happy. But instead of actually making a change, we just kind of try to find somebody that is willing to adapt to our malfunction, to our toxicity, to our whatever. As leaders, I would love to call us to a level of introspection and a level of accountability that is reminiscent of the idea that it starts with me. It's not, let's hire somebody that doesn't mind as much, or someone that's more desperate, or somebody that needs the money. It's, what am I doing to make an effective change? And if you're not an executive, or maybe even if you are, you may not have the power, whether literal or kind of practically, to just make a change. Right? That's really difficult to completely shift a culture. That's a years-long process. But the question, I feel, is still very relevant in our day-to-day lives and activities of, what am I doing today to make this a better place to work than it was yesterday? It's tricky because we're busy, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're handling this, and then we're called to reframe all of that and refilter it through, what should I have done? How could I have done? What will I have wished I would have done? And yet it's critically important that we go through that step of self-reflection and introspection. Say, how am I serving my team today? Am I legitimately, authentically, dynamically serving my team? Or are we just trying to get through another day? I would encourage us all to ask that simple question. Am I serving my team today? And if the answer is no, just change one thing. Just change one thing. Maybe it's making yourself available. Maybe it's listening a little bit better. Maybe it's just reading a book so that you have another tool. Or maybe it's subscribing to this channel so that every week you have something new to consider on your path to effective leadership. Thank you for joining us today on the Servant-Minded Leadership channel. It's been a privilege to walk with you for the last few minutes. We would love to have you subscribe and even share this with anyone you feel would be benefited by it. We exist to help leaders change the world.